everybody. I've been trying to assess the status and trends of nuclear power for the past 30 years. We've been bringing out a World Nuclear Industry Status Report the first time in 1992. The basic idea was to show that nuclear power had actually reached a peak as early as the end of the 1980s. From then on, as we know now, there was actually no major construction anymore. And today we're back at a situation that we've had by the middle or late 1980s. This effort is also an attempt to see what is behind, or what content is there to a so-called nuclear renaissance, a term that has been invented by the nuclear industry in around 2000-2001 in order to stimulate public acceptance and expenditure for nuclear programs. We now see that, in fact, we are not only not having a nuclear renaissance, we're basically having a decline of nuclear power in the world for close to 20 years. The first assessment was to see, if you look at the share of electrical power that is covered by nuclear energy of all electricity in the world, the peak contribution of nuclear power was already reached in 1993, almost 20 years ago. That might come as a surprise to many people because we've heard so much over the past 10 years of that so-called nuclear renaissance. Now, the maximum of nuclear electricity generated was in 2006. Since then, there has been a significant decline. Obviously, in 2011, the events at Fukushima had a huge impact on nuclear electricity generation in the country, but also in other countries like Germany that decided to shut down half of its nuclear reactors as a consequence of rethinking about nuclear power after those tragic events in Japan. Now, officially, there's still in total 50 nuclear reactors in operation in Japan. However, as we speak, there are only 2 of them generating electricity. We have a huge split between nuclear operators, the utilities, the government, and the banks that actually own the utilities that operate the nuclear reactors, that want to restart those nuclear power plants. On the other hand, we have the civil society in Japan that says, no, we don't even want to talk about a nuclear phase-out as the government now does in 2030 or after. We don't want any restart of nuclear reactors. So the society is split in Japan, and it's very difficult to see how many reactors will get permission to restart and how the public will respond. We do have a situation where for the first time we see large-scale demonstrations. To imagine in this country several tens of thousands of people protesting in the streets of Tokyo is something that I had never seen in the 20 years that I've been going to Japan. At the most you could see a few dozen people with a banner, but no mass demonstrations. It was just not the kind of way that the Japanese expressed their convictions. Now you have all kinds of different methods in order to protest potential restart of the reactors, including a 7.5 million signature campaign that asks for no restart and abandoning nuclear power altogether. So if we take those numbers into account, we are really on a worldwide scale back to the situation in the 1980s. In the absence of major nuclear new build programs, it's very simple. The operating reactors in the world grow older and older. The average age now of the operating fleet is something like 27 years. 27 years is a very significant age. For people who are old enough, they might ask themselves what the cars looked like at the time 27 years ago. In fact, we have 155 reactors now operating that have over 30 years of time in operation. So it is a concern that we have that these facilities get older and older and with the problems that come along. Let's have a little outlook into the future, and of course the first thing that comes to mind is nuclear construction. We have registered 59 nuclear reactors under construction in the world. However, there's only one country that really builds. That is China, that has 26 units under construction. Russia 10, India 7, and South Korea 3. All other countries have only, at the most, 2 reactors under construction currently. So this is a very limited amount of units. Also, let's look a little closer at the only country that is building. Before Fukushima happened, China already spent about 5 times more on renewable energies than it spent on nuclear power. 5 times more before Fukushima. After Fukushima, China froze its nuclear construction program. There were no nuclear construction sites initiated after 3/11, and the program is still in a very uncertain stage for its future. But on the other hand, the renewable energy programs have been boosted. Targets have been set up, for example, for photovoltaic solar electricity quadrupled for 2015. So we see a very strong drive internationally towards renewable energies rather than nuclear power. The only country in the world that has actually started up nuclear reactors, new nuclear reactors in 2012 is South Korea. And this raises the question, is there really a debate about this issue? Is there really the complete understanding of the implications? I think that those are issues that should be discussed in a democratic manner, and people's opinions should be taken into account.